Good morning, everybody. Sunday Elijah here. Nice to have you all back. We continue our session on men and women. We must know each other better. And we might need to invest this time just to study one another. Daniel Asenga, welcome. Benny Gift, nice to see you. Pat Agbons, Victoria Salau, Rochelle White, Lanon Adebayo, G. Gem Eric, Ngoya Sharis, Ola Martin, Yomi Jegede. Good morning to all of you. Margarita Christopher, good morning. Fawa Fetoy, morning. Jake Oke, Kike Adetiba. Well, as you are coming in, please go ahead and be free to share the link as well. So you are coming in, immediately go share the link. Look for your share button, it's under your video. Just go ahead and share that as you are coming in. And don't forget to write your opinion about this series just over your video that you are sharing. So go share the link as you are coming in. Go share that link. Nice to see all of you. Another day to learn more about the opposite sex, about our women and about our men. I hope I'll be able to give you a few more differences today. Some men were really concerned that even though I called these differences between men and women, that I was paying more emphasis to the women and the differences from the women's side. And the men were saying, well, okay, is that a little bit biased? Well. If they are the weaker vessel, what do you think? I think we should take care of them. We should try to understand them the more. And you know, the Bible didn't say live with men with understanding. Men don't really need too much understanding. They need a little bit, but not as much as the women. But the Bible said that live with the woman with understanding. Ooh, how much the women need understanding. Ooh, they need so much understanding. And that's why I was paying a lot of attention to letting us know how much we need to understand them. But today, since men are complaining, I will try to be nice. So I'm going to give equal differences between men and women, okay? So I'm going to try to give 6 differences, 6 things where men and women are a little bit different. And so what we're supposed to consider. Number 1, so if you have shared the link, so go ahead. If you have not shared the link here, go ahead and do it. If you have shared the link, then we'll be ready to go. So go under your video, look for the share button, press that button, you'll get a copy of the video, it will come to your timeline. And when it's there, you'll be able to watch it over and over again at any time at your leisure. And then you might want to write something for your friends or for people who might be seeing it on your timeline so that they see that it might be good for them as well to watch. Okay, differences between men and women. Number 1, how do we behave when we talk? How do men and women behave when we talk? Women, when they are talking with a man, especially if that man is important to them, of course, especially if that is their spouse, women tend to have a habit or a tendency to look you right in your eyes They need those eyes. The girls need the eyes. The girls need the women need your eyes. They want to look you in the eye like that. And it's kind of different for the men. Men don't understand. Why do I need to? I'm hearing you. Man wants to rather watch television at that time. And maybe, I don't think people still watch television these days, but I will do something. They want to multitask when you are talking. They want to multitask when you are talking. And frankly speaking, it's not just because they love football more than the women, or they love football more than you. It's not because they don't value you. It's just because men have ego. And one thing with the way the ego of men work is this. They feel a little bit embarrassed to be looking you in the face directly like that all the time. Not that they feel ashamed or embarrassed. They just don't want to intimidate you. And they don't want to feel intimidated as well. But what they don't know is that a woman wants to look you in the eyes because it helps them to read you better. The women read us. They read our reaction. So for the woman, it's not just what she's hearing. It's what she's feeling. And looking you in the eyes helps her to place you where you are, and what you are saying or what they are telling you, how it's getting to you. So she wants to read you. She wants to understand. She wants to see you. So that's why she wants to look you in the eyes, number one. Number two, she wants to read you in the eyes to see that you are really with her. She needs your attention. Now, so what do the men do in that regard? Where if women want to look in the eyes, what happens to the men? The men rather would like to avoid the eyes. Not right in the eye. He could look in your direction. It's not against looking in your direction. A little bit, maybe looking right a little bit lower than those eyes. Maybe in the neck area or in this ear area, just beside you, like that little bit, or just to the lower chest, to the chest area, or maybe to your lip area. But looking you in the eye, it's kind of strange to the man. Kind of strange to the man. He doesn't want to look in the eye. Maybe in the beginning when you are dating, if he's really in love, he might want to do that a little bit, but all the time, eye for the man is more an intimidating thing. When a man really looks you in the eye, it means he wants to confront you. Or he doesn't want to confront. So if he loves you, he doesn't want to confront you right in your eye. He can do that a little bit to just let you know that he honors you, he wants to hear you out. But all the time, I just want you ladies to also know, okay? So don't be too harsh on that guy. It's not about his attitude to you. It's not about him being hard, not understanding, or it's just because his nature is different. His nature is different. His nature is different. The nature of man, let me tell you the way it is really. Men like to look right in the eye like that when they want to fight. You know, when he doesn't have any respect for you and he's ready to now tell you what he thinks about you, he could look you in the eye. That is the normal, just for you. I didn't want to mention that before, but let me just tell you the way it is. If he's crossed at you and it's time for him to tell you the hard, raw truth, let me tell you what I think about you now. Look you right in your eye. When a man gets to that stage, you don't want him to get there with a lady. That's why when you see boxers, if you have ever seen boxers measuring themselves and before they fight, they look right themselves in the eye like that because they say, I want to do this to you. That's what men are about. But women want to look in the eyes for romance, for understanding, for love. And so we're learning. We're going to learn. So, but not just the men should learn. I think the women should learn as well to understand that not that men are bad, or not that men don't love them, but it's just like, okay, someone has a birthday today, right? I'm sorry, I've not been looking in the thing you guys are writing. Okay, Christy what? Okay, Christy has a birthday today, so congratulations to Christy. And I don't know if Flair Karim Matip is here. Is Flair Karim Matip here? Because Flair Karim Matip is supposed to have a birthday today. But she's not telling us. She's not saying it. Is Flair there? And everybody, let's congratulate Flair Karim Matip and Christine on their birthdays. So, Father, in the name of Jesus, we release your grace and blessings upon Christine and upon Fleur. Fleur, is it your birthday as well? Yeah, it's a birthday as well. And Esther too. 3 people, 3 princesses having birthday today. So Christine, Fleur, and Esther. All of you are having birthday. 3 people having birthday. Then I must sing. Then I have to sing. Happy birthday. My voice this week has been a mess because I've been talking all the time, but let's try. Let me just try. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Well, I tried the best I could. I told you, I'm not fit. My voice is not so fit this week. But hug you all. Happy birthday. So sorry that you are not here. It could have been a good chance to give you a good hug. But I hope somebody does that in your home. I hope you have a husband or a brother or a mother or a father to give you that big hug, cover you, give you that protective edge and that comfort that you are not alone, that you are loved, and that the whole world is with you and standing still today for your birthday. Happy birthday, guys. Happy birthday. Sorry, I didn't notice. I was so focused on this man-woman thing. So happy birthday, Christine, Esther, and Fleck Karim Matip. All right, here we go. So I think we got that 1 point straight, all right? Next point that I want to, I have some people with me, of course. What I would like to say is that I'm going to mention maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 points. So you note what you want to talk about or what you want to comment on by the time I give you the opportunity to speak. Oh, am I saying? Is anybody saying Laura? Laura too is having birthday. My God, soon I'm only going to be doing birthday greetings. Okay. Next point, Laura, of course, happy birthday to you as well, if that's true. All right. Next vital difference that I think every man needs to know about the woman is our motive when we talk to each other. What do we pursue? Everybody's got an agenda. So what is the agenda of the man when he talks? Even a man might not even know he has an agenda when he's talking. And a woman might not even know she has an agenda when she's talking. But what is it? What is the underlying tone? What is the underlying motive behind the desire of the man to talk? And what is the underlying motive behind the desire of the lady to engage in a conversation? And it's universal. It's not because you are black or white, or you are from Africa or I'm from America. It's about your gender. It's about the way God created you. So what I mean by underlining agenda is this. a woman is talking because through our discussion and talk, she wants somebody's support. So a woman is talking as a way to get you on her side. As a way, let's say this, the underlying purpose of a lady talking is for solidarity. Solidarity. For you to understand exactly what she's feeling. Man is not, doesn't want to bring you to your side, to his side or thing. He's not even thinking like that. But a woman needs it. When she's talking, she wants you to identify with her totally, to exactly experience what she's feeling. To, yes, I understand, yes. She wants you to get you there. She wants to get you to that place where she will think that, yes, it's for solidarity. Yes, I know what you're feeling. And do you think that the men know what she's feeling? So you men who are out there, when you are talking with your lady or your sister or your mother or your aunt or just any sister, any wife or your wife, that's why it's important for them again for you to listen and to look at them, because they really want to get you to a place of involvement. They want to feel your solidarity. They want you to feel that you understand them so much that you can actually experience what they're experiencing. So she needs that solidarity, that support. That's why even some women say it like this: even if you are not hearing me or you are not supporting, do pretend that you are hearing me. At least pretend that you are with me. Pretend. They need that solidarity. Even if you are not interested, pretend that you are interested. Yeah, play along. Some women have been so frustrated and they have lacked that so much. They have thirsted and they have been thirsty of that so much that they even agree now for you to fake it. That's how desperate our world has become. So women are so void and they lack this attention so much. Nobody pays attention to them to the extent that we are fasting them. We are making them to fast. We are thirsty. We are making them to, we are depriving them of this attention they need and solidarity so much that they are already agreed for you to even fake it and just play along. So, the woman she talks because she wants somebody to come to her side. She talks because she needs somebody to play along, to really make her feel that you are understanding her, you are with her, you are experiencing what she's talking, and that you understand exactly what she's feeling. So she's talking for solidarities. Why the man? Okay, what is the underlying motive for the man when he talks? Sorry, girls. When he talks, he's not talking. He's not thinking about, solidarity for you to feel what he's feeling. He's talking so that he could establish his status. That's why man is talking so that you will notice his achievement, so that you will notice his success, so that you will pay attention to what he has been able to achieve. Man is talking for the sake of status. He wants to establish his status. So he wants to tell you the things he has been able to do. So woman is talking for solidarity and man is talking for status. Woman is talking for the sake of you to experience and to be in a place and to really understand that and make sure that you are experiencing what she's experiencing. But man is talking so that you know what he has done. This is all because of the way we are wired. This is all because God has created us this way. The man's greatest desire is status, is to be respected. Pride is to be honored. So he's talking. In his talking, he's pursuing that. And the woman greatest desire to be loved. So in talking, she's pursuing that as well. But she doesn't know. She's not thinking about this. It's just coming automatically. And the man too is not thinking about. So if you say this to a man, that you are talking so that, whenever we talk, especially to people who are really important to you, that is why men boast all the time. Women don't boast as much, but men do. Number two, that is why men exaggerate sometimes, maybe all the time. They know how to exaggerate. Now, some people say, "Oh, you are just exaggerating." It's just because they need that attention, that status thing, that significance. So it's about the difference between men and women, and it's about our nature, how we are different, So next thing that we need to, next thing about the woman that I want us to pay attention to. So it's when we talk, what happens to our eyes? When we talk, what are the underlying things that we're pursuing? And another thing that about discussion, when we are talking, this is all about conversation. Another thing that, another big difference between men and women when we are talking is man in any conversation it starts from a decision. It takes a decision and then converses about it. It's decision to conversation. So it makes the point and then discusses the point. Why the woman is a little bit different. It's from discussion, she wants to come to the conclusion, to a decision. So she wants to talk about what is going on, everything, before she talks about the decision that is arrived at. So discussion and conversation helps her to arrive at a decision. So that's why you begin to talk about something. A woman begins to tell what is happening, everything that's good, and the man is saying, "What are you trying to say? What's wrong here? What are you? Make the point first." But she's a little bit different. She wants to talk about it. She wants to illustrate, and then through discussion, come to a decision. Even if the only thing is that some women, they have learned to live in man's world. So they've learned to talk within themselves first and bring out the point, and then they could just mention the point. But still, they still need to discuss it. You see, so women are wired in a way that it's not just point. It's about experience. So it's about discussion. So but the idea is that through conversation, they are more conversational. Through conversation and discussion, come to a conclusion. But men, or a decision. But men is take a decision, then let's discuss it. Or have a point that we discuss. Or we have a starting point. This is the point what we are talking about, and we talk. So the men are always telling the women, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you trying to say?" Okay, what's the point? Okay, I know. Okay, let me know. What are you trying? Okay, we'll talk about. But what you want to say? Because we are different. Man wants to hear the point. Tell me the point. We'll talk about it later, but let me know what you are talking about. But the woman wants to explain, describe what's going on, and then you come to the conclusion about the point. Okay, these are three things. No, before we discuss, I'm going to go to the second three points later on after we discuss. But with these 3 points, with this last point I've made, how should men improve themselves? Men should try to relate to the ladies with understanding, knowing that, okay, she needs to just, that's the way she is. She needs to discuss about, she needs to experience it. When she's talking about discussing, she's experiencing it. So she's removing the pressure from herself. She's removing she's feeling some relief, and she's thinking that she's understood after she has discussed, and then she's coming to the conclusion, or asking you to help her come to the conclusion. So we need to be more patient with them. And then the woman, from the woman's side, we need to know the way the men work. So what woman could do is to talk to herself first, to reach that point, to come to the point in her mind, and start with it just for the man to understand better. Or write down the things, and bring the point out first, written down. Always write down, so that you don't avoid the talking for him. That will be boring. So write the point out, start with that, and then discuss it. That's how it is better for the men, from the woman's side. But for the men's side, you should also try not just to talk about the main points, but also to always try to describe. She wants to hear more story. She wants to hear all about the process. So we should also try to understand each other in that regard. Okay, now you've heard three things. These are three differences about in the relationship between men and women, and I want us to discuss it with the people I have here. I've told you about what happens to the eye contact when we talk. I've told you about what happens in the area of status and connection and solidarity, and I've also told you about what happens in the area of decisions, how we reach our decision. So here I'm going to open this thing up. So let me show you who are the people I have here around me. I have Ruby here. Then I have Ola Martin here. I have Ephraim here. Who is this?
Kevin.
He's been here every day. I have Lola Shoruke here. She could be Caroline sometimes.
Yes.
But this is the Caroline that you know. She's the hero of the show. People are saying you have a great future and you are so brilliant. But my only concern is that too many people have fallen in love with you on that front. Both men and women. Huh?
I don't know what to do with it.
Is that a concern?
I don't know what to do. I guess I'll have to put some platform in place.
I know what to do with that. Just swim in it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Okay, who starts? Who wants to start, and what do you want to start with? Any one of you want to start to discuss about the points I already made? Ruby, you want to start?
So I think the very first point is the eye contact. I think when a woman looks at a man, when she converses with a man, she wants to look at the eyes, because I think that communicates trust to her. If the husband can maintain the conversation whilst looking in her eyes, then she can know that the husband is not trying to hide anything.
Yes.
Which means if she's feeling that she's telling the truth, means she's feeling that she can trust him. And if she can trust him, that means she can open up more. And if she can open up more, that means that she's feeling more secure in the marriage, and that she's feeling more loved. So the whole conversation brings, I think, the whole holistic approach. If one step leads to the next. In the same way, I think when about conversation, men think in boxes. So
yeah, no. Before you leave the eye contact thing, I want you to say, is it easy for the man to always look in the eye? Or help me explain that to them, so that the ladies could also know from the side of the man that, what I did.
I think when the man is generally trying to say or trying to have a genuine conversation with his spouse,
not just spouse though,
or even with a woman, it can be difficult. For me personally, if I'm talking about a situation that is, I know if we're having an argument or something that I'm not fully feeling confident about, I'll probably look to the left and to the right and not always concentrate on the eyes. Or sometimes the woman, once she speaks and she makes a point, she makes a big pause, and that pause might be just 5 seconds, but that 5 seconds to me feels like eternity. and that eternity can make me feel quite uncomfortable. So if a serious conversation, it makes me want to smile, and I know I shouldn't smile, and I can so I just get myself into trouble. So from a serious conversation, I end up being in a trouble. So I try to just sometimes even avoid the contact every couple of seconds, so I can compose myself.
Look the way they're looking at you.
Or even
they're laughing so much.
Or even I have to bite my lip. You literally see bite marks on my inside of my lip, so I don't smile. I don't kind of lose my composure. So that's kind of.
They are discovering the man. People are so happy to hear that. Thank you. What about the next point you wanted to make?
The next point is, I think men think in boxes. So, for example, if we talk about work, we open the box of work and we only talk about work. If we want to say that, tell our wife that she's beautiful, we open the box of, oh, my wife is beautiful. We take that word and say, you are beautiful. We literally mean just that word, what we say. However, I think for women, you had that graph how the feelings relate with emotions and with the reality, with experiences. And if you tell her that she's beautiful, she will not be receiving it as, oh, he thinks I'm beautiful. She'll probably start thinking of, why is he saying that I'm beautiful? What is this intention behind it? Is he wanting something more from me? Is he just telling me that I'm beautiful, or does he want me to cook for him, or does he actually want me to do something for him? Like, is he trying to make me do something for him? So that's the big difference. When men speak words, we literally mean what we say, whereas for women, they look for what's behind in what you're saying. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we mentioned was the thing about discussions, that we don't just, the women sometimes they are making their point and they come to a decision through discussion. By discussion, they talk, then they come to the conclusion. But we want to tell me the main point. Is there any difference there between men? Anything you would like to say about that? That women, we want you to just tell us the point.
Well, that's how it is, because we're very logical and very methodical. So we normally speak in bullet points, whereas they speak in a novel.
Yeah.
So you find the punchline at the end of the book, whereas for us, we start with a bullet point with a title of what we're going to say. So I think that's the biggest difference, and that's when men can sometimes maybe become impatient in the conversations where they say, so what is the point of this? Like, what are you trying to tell me? Because I don't get it.
Anybody wants to mention?
Yeah.
You want to come on?
Yes, good day, everyone. I know you're all over the world, so I'll just say good day for now. But actually, I wanted to talk about the points where you talk about the woman having a whole lot of discussion and talk before we get to the main point. And for me personally, what happens is that I'm talking and I'm just seeing all kinds of stuff. It's like, I'm seeing a whole lot of things, and so I want all the things I'm seeing in my head. I want to go through them, because it's just like that picture you showed us that goes round with all those colors. But that's exactly for me when I want to talk. It's like I'm going through this whole circle of different things, and then I suddenly narrow it down to a point. So it's difficult.
Okay.
It's difficult to get out of all of those pictures, because remember, we women have the tendency to admire details, beauty, and things put here and there. We would go into a room and look at where the picture is, look at where the curtain is, look at where the chair is, look at what's on the table. We do all of those things. We don't miss, let me just put it like that. We don't miss all those things in the environment, in the surrounding. And so I think that's what happens when we want to talk. We don't want to miss all the dynamics that's going on, all the things that we're seeing in our head. And I don't know how we do. We do bring it to a conclusion, but it takes a while. And now listening listening to how men receive that, I have more understanding. And what I've done to deal with
Sometimes,
this,
women could think we are the same, right? That we also understand.
we might also think too that you've seen some pictures too, but now we know you're direct. You're like in blocks. Take out this block and then take out that block.
Yeah.
So but for us, there's just something, and we can't pass it by. It's almost like walking in a beautiful garden. As we're talking, it's like why just, there's a whole lot of things going on. So this whole thing, it's beautiful, it's lovely, but it's not lovely and beautiful to the men that we're talking to, to sort all of that out. But I did want to say that when I caught this with myself in my marriage, and I saw that my husband it's like, what's the point here? I don't get it. I was like, oh, no.
I don't get it. And I can see the face of your husband right now before me.
I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I just went through this whole beautiful description of everything, and he didn't get it. And so what I've learned to do, just exactly as you said, I've learned to talk to myself or have this conversation, so that by the time I want to take it to him, I'm actually going straight to the point. Now, this is what happens. Now, when you, a woman, now go straight to the point, because it's just like the way the man goes, they're in shock. They're like, that's it? And you're like, yep, that's it. So then now they're going to be asking you for, well, don't you, now I can get to the rest, because you asked, so now I get to the rest of the story that I want to tell. So that's the kind of craft that I've found that works for me. It's like, okay, you know how to get to the point, I'll work with the point, because I know you're going to say, that's not, something's the matter. She doesn't just give me the point. So the moment he asks for more, then I go on that trip. Okay, let's go now. I'm going to tell you all that happened. So, but it's nice to know, how a man is and how a woman is. And today, for some reason, this morning, I remembered that for many years, me and my husband were premarital counselors. And I don't know if there are many of them left in the church, but with premarital counseling, these are the issues that we address. And we have found that over the years through premarital counseling, that when we get to these issues, actually the two people considering to get married really, really think it over. They really, really begin to discuss about what are they getting into. Because through the premarital counseling, we find that the man says, no, I don't plan to go to school anymore. And then the lady is like, I thought that you did. Yeah, you thought that he did, but you never asked. You didn't ask directly if that was what he was going to do. So if, premarital counselors are still around, or if there's not enough, I think that's another group of people that can come in and help people before they get married to deal with these issues that we're talking about here today. Because if you don't know and you get into the marriage without knowing it, it really would take the grace of God for your marriage to actually be settled in some years. It would be just really chaotic because you wouldn't have anybody to explain to you what's going on. So I'm very happy about this platform that we can discuss it. It's out there to many of you, and we can also get feedbacks from you too.
I'm going to stop you on what you said, about the fact that when you are talking, because we don't know that's very strange to us. You said when you, as a lady, you are talking, there are so many pictures that you are saying. And so many going on before you now come around. Okay, now let me show you. I might need your help here. If I show you this picture, this is the conversation for the man, for the woman and woman. Okay, the man is talking to somebody, either on phone or in live, in real life. And this is the man, just straightforward, point to point. And this is the woman. Is this very straightforward? So she's talking, and she's going around before she reaches conclusion. She's starting from here. She's saying so many things in the way, going around, before she comes out of all this. through conversations, she comes finally to making a point. But the man, hey, what do you mean? Boom, boom. You got it. Are you seeing it? Did you see?
I've seen it. And
Now, what do you think about that? Yes.
you know what? Now that you showed that picture, you know what that looks like to me?
No.
That looks like we have a lot of tasks to do. That was yesterday. You talked about the different things that women have to do.
Yes.
And so, because we're so wired that people talk about multitask, but that picture that you just showed is a multitask picture. It's almost like
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's almost like, to me, it's like that picture. To me, is like I am talking, but at the same time, I'm going, why is that flower moved there? I'm talking. I need to move that flower. Wait a minute, that curtain. What happened here?
Is that
and
so?
yet I'm still talking. That's exactly what that looks
Are
like.
you not distracted?
No, that's when they say women are multitask. Even in our talk, we're branching off to different areas.
Even though you are still talking.
Yes. That's part of
And parallel, you are
multitasking.
seeing the thing. And
Yes,
talking about it.
you'll see things that are out of order, things that are not dusted, and oh yeah, I need to move that.
And you don't
it's all getting.
So forget what you are saying.
So you're just. But the
Sometimes-
interesting thing, how do we get back to the point?
Yeah, sometimes you forget about what you are talking and you go off to the flower and to the curtain. So women then have to work on themselves, to discipline themselves to keep on to that point. But explain this thing better to me. You know, yeah, please. Help me out with that. Oh, do you want to help?
Oh.
Can you explain more? How does this work? We can get it. No, later. We can get it. How do you? What is happening here?
If you look at,
Because for the men, I understand what is happening here. I'm making my point. Boom, boom. For the women,
yeah, for us women, for the women that have had babies,
are you seeing the pictures?
yeah, the circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you explain
Yeah.
that?
I believe that design is what makes us a woman and makes us function as a woman.
Okay.
Because I was going to say that as a woman, when you have a
Child,
baby,
uh-huh.
there's so much things to think about.
Okay.
You know, you have to think about feeding the baby. You have to think about washing the baby. You have to think about. So you're so used to
About other
thinking-
things. Mention.
Okay, so you think about taking care of your baby. You're even scared that you hope you're doing the right thing for the baby. You hope you have the right milk for the baby. Has the baby really eaten when last night? You do all this, and then with that you're thinking, oh my gosh, you know what? I do need to cook. I do need to eat. I do need to clean. I do need to.
Even though maybe you are talking with your husband or something else at that time.
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, how will you explain this picture that I'm seeing here?
I'm one of those women who I think, because me and my dad are so alike and we go at it a lot, that I've trained myself to get to my
Yeah,
points
but you've
really
trained. We
fast.
are talking about the natural instinct that
Yes,
we're seeing here.
and so, but I still have that. This goes on inside.
That's what we want you to explain for us. Sit down.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Just
Like
explain that to us. How does that look like?
that roundabout to me is. That's how we end up considering. Like we don't think about. Okay, let me just say. Ruby said, he said like something about the eyes. He said.
In the boxes, yeah?
Well, no, when he was talking about looking in the eyes, like, okay, like there will be a silence,
Okay.
and he wants to like laugh or, and it realized at that moment that men are looking for the purpose of anything, even silence. Like, so why are we in silence now? So it's funny. But women think about how everything is related to a certain thing. It's not so much about the purpose of a certain thing, it's about how many different things are related. And then we come to a conclusion that best serves all of these relationships between things. So that's why we have to go.
I don't get it.
So, okay. Like I was saying yesterday, if I'm going to choose a college to go to, I'm not just thinking about where I want to go or what I want to do. I'm thinking about my little brother. I'm thinking about my parents' opinion. I'm thinking about my friend's opinion. I'm thinking about what kind of teachers are there. I'm thinking, am I going to be the only black woman there? Am I going to be the lower percentage of women in there? I'm going to think about what city I'm in. I'm going to think about, is there anything to do there? I'm thinking about how all these things are related, and that's how I come to a conclusion. But I'm coming to a conclusion not for the purpose of just going to college or just going somewhere. I'm making a conclusion that best serves all of these relationships.
So this picture, then please show this picture to us. From there, from where you are. So this picture then, going around, is about how things are related. Before you now take a decision.
Yes. Because,
can you point to that pink picture and tell us about it? So you go, why that around? Why all those around? You know, see the circles is going around.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's one line. It's one line. Yes, if you follow this, all of this is the same line.
Are you sure?
Yes. It's,
to us, it looks like there are 20
yes, it does, there. And in real life, that's what it looks like. But it's all, we are connecting. If I'm thinking about 5 different things at once, I'm not just thinking about 5 separate things. I'm thinking about how 5 things. Exactly. I'm thinking about how 5 things relate to each other. Yes.
But you are seeing this as one line?
Yes.
So tell me, why is it one line? How is it one? This thing I'm saying now, how is it one line? To me, it's like it's a bunch of 20 or so.
Yes, but if you were to follow this line here, you would see that it never breaks.
Okay.
This line never breaks. So it's almost like, I think of it kind of like the fairies in Sleeping Beauty that they fly from one place to the other. They're just like taking note of like where they're going along the way. Like, you just gather all of this information along, like she said, this movie of.
But how do you arrive at a conclusion? How do you get? You still arrive at the end. I'm seeing here.
Yes.
That it still has an end and a beginning.
Yes, because it's not. This is not about whether or not we get to a point. As much as it's not. It's not for us. Like I said, like for men, it's about getting to the point. However, for us, it's about arriving to the correct conclusion, like a correct, mutually beneficial conclusion.
So all these things have to relate. All these circles I'm saying have to relate for you.
Yes.
So for it to make sense.
For us to be at peace with what.
To be at peace. It's more for peace.
So like, okay, for instance, like if sometimes a man will just make a decision.
Yes.
And then the woman is thinking, but have you considered this? Have you considered that? Have you considered this? Have you considered that?
Have you touched all these circles?
Yes. Have you gone through all of these different avenues to ask yourself if that is the correct decision? But he's just thinking, okay, I've made a decision. I'm happy. But we're thinking, you haven't considered the 20 different things that's going to affect.
I'm seeing 20 circles in that diagram. Can you see it too?
No.
What are you saying?
Oh, yes. Oh, you're talking about these circles here. Yes.
But is it circles or is it one line?
It's one line. It's, yes.
It's one line.
Men is seeing 20 circles here.
Yeah.
But you are seeing one line.
Yeah, it's one
How
line.
is it one line?
Because, like she said, we have all these things that we need to consider. The main.
And it's still connected to one thing.
For us, it is, because that's the way that we can function. That's the way we can function and be sane. Okay. If we're able to be able to link all these different things that we have to do, that we have to feel, that we have to think in one, along the line. So as we walk by, we're just doing everything. I'm walking from here and I'm getting things done. Okay, I'm gonna do the backyard, do the window. So, as we go along, we're looking for what needs to be done as we continue on this journey. Let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. It's not a line where we say, okay, I'm just gonna walk this way straight and get it done. By that time, in our minds, we've missed so much stuff that we needed to get done. It's not going to work for us.
Is that right?
It's not going to work.
So you don't have peace within yourself.
Yeah, I think women are very good at troubleshooting You know,
Okay.
we're very good at looking 10 years in the future and saying, so how's the decision that we're making in this moment going to affect me 10 years later? Like, you know, I would say to my mom, oh, I admire Nigerian women because even if their husband says, stay at home, don't work, she will be thinking, okay, but what if you lose job? Okay, I'm going to start making a little bit of money on the side. I'm going to start putting it away so that if this happens, I will have something to support the family. She'll make up some story and say some and such and such paid me money or something like that. But that's our strength. Our strength is to put a hedge of protection around the people we care about the situations we care about, and that comes from us being able to relate several different things from the past, from the future, from right now, from the across the world, from where we are, from next door, that is our strength. But obviously it has its
But
weaknesses.
women
as
are
well.
writing. This is so eye-opening. Men, sorry. I was saying we never knew this.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever even look at a woman who is in a conversation, but she has toddlers who are playing in the playground, you can see it. You can see her multitasking in that moment. She's talking to somebody, but she's also like, get off there, okay. And then she continues but she's thinking, while she is talking to you, she's also thinking, that boy better not kill himself on that, on that monkey bar, And then she's also thinking, oh man, when I get home, I have to cook, I didn't go to the grocery stores, okay. But she's still talking to this lady, and it's apparent. It's just, not.
So you are not seeing 20 circles here?
No, I mean, if you even look, like, look at this circle never ends. It never ends. Like, even if you look at this small circle, that's just a loop. That's not even, it doesn't end, it's not like, it's one continuous line. It's just elongated. It can go several places. You know what I'm
For me,
saying?
this is one line here.
Yes, but it's short. It's also short. It's limited. If you think about this, if I were to stretch out these two, this would extend about 10 times this.
Which means the life of the lady is 10 times more complicated than the life of the man.
Not only complicated, I would say.
Okay, you don't say complicated, okay.
It is I think it is more complex for you. I think women are doing calculus and men are doing algebra. So I feel like, this is really, it's not really just about, oh my gosh, she's going 20 different places. She's thinking at a level that, would make your head spin. All I can say is like calculus versus algebra or even just math, addition. A man is like 2 + 2 is 4. A woman is like, but if that 2 is to the compound of 2, we're just thinking all of these scenarios, but it's for a purpose. It's just we're not focused.
Ola Martin, you are a lady too. No, you have a question here. Can you explain that diagram?
You
can go to that. Remove it. Yeah. Yes. How do you want to add to what I said?
Good morning, everyone.
You say, is that one line or 20 circles?
It's one line.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's one line.
Point to it. Point to the one line. That yellow thing is one line.
This is just one line, but it's just going, just looping to get to the end.
And it will get to that end.
Yes, it will definitely get to the end. We as women, we are how we nurture. We like to nurture people.
Okay.
We like to love on people. But in order not to hurt our husbands or men in general, as we are talking with them, communicating with them, we try to go round everything just to make sure we don't hurt their feelings when we get to the point we want to make.
That's one area.
And we as women, as we are talking to our spouse or a friend or something, we are thinking, oh, when I get home, I have to cook, I have to do this, I have to make sure the children homework are done. Even me, when I'm going for treatment, my husband work night. We rotate our schedule. He work night, so that by the time he comes home in the morning, he try to take care of the children while I go for treatment. But when I come from treatment, when I'm tired, sleepy, I'm still thinking, oh, the children will soon come from school. I have to get up from bed. I have to go make lunch for them to come and eat. And then when they come, I have to help them with their homework. And when I tell my husband, are you not helping with their homework? He said, oh, can I just sleep 5 minutes? And then my daughter would say, Daddy, are you helping? He said, are you done? She said, yes. Oh, yes, you're done. So why am I helping you? But he haven't gone there to check the homework. I have to stay, get up from bed, check the homework.
But why do we have to?
We are women. We are nurturers.
So when you are sleeping, then if you need more rest and sleep then, because so when you are sleeping, you really need to get to sleep before you stop thinking then. You cannot, when you lie down in that bed and you are not sleeping, your mind is working or what?
Oh yes, the mind is still going. For women, our mind is still working. We are still
So you are
thinking.
considering all these things
Yes,
while you are lying in that bed?
yes.
Maybe sleeping tablets are made for women.
Not really. If you notice, most women, if you say 100%, only about 10% might take sleeping tablet, because by the time the woman finish thinking and stuff, she's tired. She'll go to sleep. But that's just it.
So when you are going for treatment for chemotherapy, you are still thinking what happens at home?
Yes,
It's not possible.
it is. We are women.
So your mind is not just on your pain or in the treatment you are going to.
Your mind is on your family, on what you are going to do at chemo when you get to chemo, your children, making sure they're behaving well in school.
Well, because when you
Now, wow.
like for homework, for instance, like she's saying, like for homework, a woman is not thinking just the woman is not just thinking about the homework right there. She's thinking about college. She's thinking about career. She's thinking about husband. She's thinking about children. She's already gone 20, 50, 2 generations into the future, all about just this homework right now.
But your homework will be every day.
Yeah. So every time that the child is not doing the homework or someone didn't check the homework, she's thinking, oh man, I can't let a day slip because I know that, this might be the area that she's struggling in, and if it is, then I want to be there to notice it so that I can get her into the right help, so that she can get into the right school, so she can get to the right career. And you think of that, but for us, you think it's a lot, but for us, we think about it like this. We think about all those things like that. Okay, you're not going to check homework? We think about all this stuff, and then we're like, okay, I'll do it. I'm just going to do it so I can...
Okay, let me show you another photograph here. I'm going to show you another photograph, okay? And I might need your help. This is also conversation. This is the man and this is the woman when she gets a message. You see? A girl gets a message or hears something or gets a text message or letter or email or... This is what's going on in her mind. Yeah. And this is when he gets the message.
Okay.
Can you show that?
Yeah.
And explain what's happening?
Me too? Okay.
Yeah, you explain that the top photograph.
Well,
Tell them.
this is, okay, sorry, it says, how
Okay,
long...
you sit down.
Sorry.
You sit down and let me do this. You sit the way you are sitting. Okay, let's see that first, yeah? Oh, good. No, to yourself, right. Now, okay, what is happening is this is conversation as well. When a girl point to it. When a girl gets a message, talk to the whole picture. She was, yeah, no, just don't touch it. Just, yeah, just say, yeah, that's it, yeah. When a girl gets a message or hears something, see all the boxes, and all the boxes are connected. This is what's happening in her mind. When she gets a message or she hears something, see what is happening. Then let's see the boy. And when the boy gets a message, this is what's going on in his mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. But you see the man, the woman, what's going on? This is when she hears something, when she reads something, gets an email or a message or hears something. These are all connected. All these are like 200 of them. And the man, nothing. Let's see the man. What's going on in his heart? What is that? Can you explain that to us?
For me, I think it's.
Do you understand that?
I think it's just like we've been talking, like, you know, even silence, even if we don't get a response, email.
Yeah. Let's see the two. Okay.
Even if we don't get a response from email, we're thinking about all the reasons why you didn't respond.
Okay.
You know, and then
we two think, but we just think 1, 2 point.
yes,
Maybe 3.
whether or not we responded.
Yes,
You know.
yes.
But we're thinking, why did you respond, or why did
Are you thinking so many joints? Look at all those joints. That's crazy.
Yes, but see, here it seems, like I said, to men it seems crazy, but for us this happens in an instant. We think about all this stuff. So, like, you know, if you say,
Louder.
for instance, if you send a text message, okay, say I sent you a text message that said, "Are you okay?
Yes.
I didn't see you," and then you just write back, "I'm fine." Period.
Yes.
You might be thinking, "Oh, that's a satisfactory answer," but she's
Yes.
thinking, "You're fine." What does that mean? Are you annoyed with me, or maybe you're tired, or maybe you're sick, or maybe your pride is getting in the way, or why? Just I'm fine. Like, can you explain to me why maybe you didn't talk to me that day, or why you just left without telling? Or, you know, we're thinking about all these things. Whereas maybe you were just tired, or maybe you were just in the middle of work. But we're thinking about all the different, even emotional reasons why you would just give us those 2 words. And then on the other hand, if you didn't say anything at all, we'd also be thinking, "Oh, what's going on?" You know, we'd be going 10,000 miles per hour. But
Kevin, what do you think about that picture? Is that crazy a little bit?
What
For the ladies, what was
can I
happening
have
to
a
them?
quick look at it again, please?
My God.
Well, I wouldn't say it's crazy, but for me, it's a lot to deal with. Like how a woman would think, like how her mind will pounce, cover all those arenas. When you're trying to, like, you maybe, you know, you want to discuss something with her, you've already got the points lined up in your mind on what you basically what you want to focus on and narrow down to. Whereas a woman, she has, you know, multiple points of views before she gets to the main point. And, you know, just the fact that her mind goes to all these different areas before she gets to the main point. So for us men, sometimes we kind of get lost in the conversation, and that's the reason why we'll be like, you know, what is your point? What are you trying to say? Because by the time we've gone through all the other points and all this, it's like we're in a conversation. We don't even know what. It's almost like we're not really sure where we're going, what we're talking about.
Can this help men to understand women better?
Yes, I
These
think
things.
definitely, because I feel like once we understand these things, we can now begin to kind of focus our attention on what they're saying and kind of, you know,
Be more patient with them?
be more patient with them and understand, okay, she's trying to talk about a main point, so we're going to try and listen out for that. So when she's saying all these other things, we're still listening, but we're still trying to see what is the main thing in her heart, what she's actually trying to communicate to us. So, yeah, of course.
What would you say, Fred, about all these photographs? This is just one. Touch it again. Yeah. That's just one. We had one before now. Yeah.
Okay, what I see here is the difference is how women and men process information
Okay.
in the way they get it. At the end, what I see is people, I gotta say, women have certain kind of needs that sometimes
Okay.
men don't understand and don't really work with them
To understand.
to understand it and to accomplish the task in that communication process between a man and a woman, right? So I think nothing is wrong in the way they assimilate the information, and obviously nothing is wrong with the men, because men and women are created for different purposes.
But we're thinking of how can we understand each other better? Can this help us understand each other better?
And so probably one of the points will be communication, strategical communication, and the way to really take care of from the man to the woman, to take care of the woman properly in any kind of relationship. Obviously, if we are talking about spouses, that's much more important, because that has impacts, or it is, the relationship between spouses impacts not just the harmony at home, but the future of the kids and the future of the societies, right? Yeah. So, if men and women have a great communication, they can see better what the points are, the important points. Men have to think that women needs a lot of care, a lot of emotions, and to allow them to let those emotions go. But that's when the man is thinking about the woman to take care of her in being respectful what its own nature. And woman, when they are more proactive in that sense, they will have, they will fulfill what the man is looking for from women.
Anybody wants to add to that?
I want to give a tip to men.
Okay.
I want to give a tip to men. I can't really see exactly what all the conversation is and, who is calling or whatever. But the tip I want to give to men is that this actually is a gift for you.
Okay.
What you do is you decide that you're actually going to sit down with your wife and listen her out. But you see, what you're really going to be doing is you're going to be noting what are the conversations that she's having in her head. You're going to find out what are those circles. Where is she going? Where does she go every day? You're going to find all of that out. Take note of them. Review it. Oh, thank you. Review it and ask yourself, how can I help my wife reduce some of these circles? Because if some of these circles are reduced, she will have the more tendency to communicate better. You will have the relief of going on this journey that might not be as necessary as she thinks. She may have never heard that, you know what, honey? You don't have to go do the laundry, pick it up on the same day, go back to grandma's house to say hi. You actually don't have to do that. On the way back from work, I can pick up the laundry. I will go say hi to grandma. I'll call you when I get there. So you're going to be helping her relieve some of these circles and conversations. And it will lead to a better relationship. And then she'll trust you when she's talking. She'll trust that you're listening. And if you've been listening long enough, you can almost predict the conversations. And also ask questions. Just ask a question for, what did you say? Did you say you went to your friend's house and when you got there she was crying? What happened? What's the matter with her? What's going on? you've just lightened her up. You just need to ask on one little thing. It's not the whole conversation. Just one, and all the other circles are gonna drop because you're gonna be like, oh, look at that. He wants to know. He wants to know. So that would be a suggestion that I think that could really, really help you if you have that chance to take notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ola, Martin, you want to say something?
The only thing I want to say is for men, I just want them to be patient with their wives. You cannot get angry with a woman all the time. Just be patient. When she's talking, just be patient. It's like me, when I send my husband to the grocery store, I say, just give him...
Is your husband a Nigerian?
Oh, he's a Liberian.
Liberian, okay.
When I say go to the grocery store, I just need a gallon of milk. He will get to the store and call me at home. Oh, what aisle is the milk on again? And then I have to go to the back of the store, in the freezer aisle, that's where you find the milk. He will get the milk. He said, where's the butter again? What was the point of me asking you to help me go to the store if I'm going to tell you everything on the phone? It's just a man just have to...
Because he has the goal only in his mind. He's not
Yes.
going through the circle.
He just have the goal. Just the goal. He want to get to the point. And in order to get to the point, he's calling me to tell him exactly where the point is, so that he can just get there and come out.
And come out.
And come out. So I just want to tell me, just be patient with your wife, because when you come home and she's looking like, what just happened? Just to get a gallon of milk, and you just went all in circle just to... But that's how, I guess that's how they are wired. And now, since every one of us is learning the differences between the men and women, I believe we all will do better.
Anybody wants to say anything about that?
Well, what I would like to just to add what Ola is talking about is this saying that says, women don't need to be understood, just need to be loved. So husbands, just love your wives, and everything is gonna be happy. Everything is gonna be fine. That's it.
But the Bible says we should live with women with understanding. So we must know and understand how they think. When we know and seek to understand how they think and why they behave the way they behave, that really makes it easier for us to be able to do things what they expect from us. Okay, so I give you 3 things in conversation with the woman. So there are 3 things that are happening that I've already said. We look at the women like to look into your eyes. And Ruby gave wonderful explanation for the men. You know, what happens with the men and why the man is not looking right in the eye and what is happening, So that, if you miss that, you need to listen to that again. Ruby gave perfect illustration about the eyes for with his wife and the conversation. Then, the run thing, and, Caroline helped us to understand that, okay, we may talk just to go to the point. We take decision to decision. But she made us to know that the women also go from decision to decision, but in the process is a longer path to that. But none of us talked about that men talk more for status, and that's why men exaggerate. And I know that men's exaggeration sometimes trouble the ladies. And, for example, one time I was all the time, but now it's better. But if I tell my wife that, I came home at 2 o'clock, she said, no, 1:50, 15 minutes to. I said, okay. I thought, what was the difference? Okay, we have 2,000 members in the church. 1,900. Okay. So men talk for status sake, right? And, to establish themselves and to make them look, proper. And the women are talking more for companionship, solidarity, for people to understand that. Anybody want to comment on that a little bit? It's okay. That is understood. Okay. All right. Then let's go to other points that we want to talk about. Another thing that we need to know about differences about men and women is that when it comes to conversations, sometimes people could get deceived about the woman. Because women, somebody could look at a lady and say, she's quiet, she doesn't talk. But that is because women don't like to talk too much in public. Or they don't like to talk too much in places where they are not secure, where they don't feel themselves secured, where they don't trust the people in that environment. So if they don't trust people in that environment, they are not, maybe they are different women, but most of the women, they don't want to open up and begin to talk everything they know, or open their heart and speak a lot when they don't trust that environment, when they don't trust the people in that place, in public. So that's why you see women, they are not too keen to talk in public. But when they come to their family in a private environment, just in their homes, oh, you discover that quiet woman, she can she can talk. And so when we say that a woman doesn't talk, okay, that's because either she doesn't trust you, or she doesn't know you enough, or is in public. But when she's in the middle of people she trusts, when she's in the middle of people she knows, in a place where she's secured, every woman talks. So that's what I'm saying. But this is a tendency that women are more quiet in public, but more talkative in private. But the men, they are more talkative in public because they need to be respected. They need to be honored. They need to display who they are, how successful they are, how important they are. So men, it's just in nature. Men like to talk more in public. But when they get home, nobody to impress. Nobody to impress at home. So why should I just be talking to you alone, just by yourself? Even some men who are pastors, who always talk a lot in the church because they are preaching all the time, at home they are just quiet. Because it's not too much pride to do about there, because you are just the wife, so you already know them in and out. But they might not know this. But this is just the nature of men, because they naturally gravitate towards recognition. So where recognition is available, that's when they come on the swooshing. But where there is no need for recognition, it's harder to get words out of them. I think that's profound. Next point that I think we should, but you should know that, because I'm going to have few people discuss that. So if it is true or not, that women are more quiet where they in public and more talkative in private, and men are more talkative in public and more quiet in private. Okay. You know what? Men have another tendency in relationship. Have you seen boys? Men have the tendency of conflicting and fighting, just fighting for fun. We jump on each other and just fight for fun, and just, they're not fighting. And the mother is saying, boys, what are you doing, boys? Oh, are you fighting? No, we are just playing, Mom. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, we are just playing. Oh, you are playing like that. That's for men, because the men need the adrenaline. They need the adrenaline. They need to, they need to do something active. So it could be expressed that desire could be expressed in fighting. Not fighting like hot, no, like angry or something. But just, they need to get the energy out. So we fight for fun. Or they put their hands like they, okay, like, or they just push each other down, but for fun. But women, they may fight, but not for fun. Women jumping on each other for fun? No, only for real. If women fight, only for real. Women don't, that's not their way of getting fun for the woman. Just fighting each other. They don't just go and fight for fun. If they don't like to fight in the real sense. Women don't like to fight, especially for fun, no. If they try to avoid conflict and avoid fight. But if they get to fight, no, it's bad news, it's for real, and very bad. But men do that for fun, just to joke. And another last point that I want to, let me see my time. Yeah, last point that I want to make is that even though women don't fight physically with each other for fun, but they do another kind of fight. Not for fun, but similar to that. They have their own thing as well. Women, what do I call it? Trouble talk. Women could trouble talk or quarrel in talk. No, start a crisis, start a conflict, start a trouble in conversation, or provoke conversation, provoke conflict, provoke disagreement, provoke, troubleshoot, trouble talk, just to create a rapport so that you pay attention to them and you begin to talk about the subject that has been bothering them. So they could start a crisis, a fight, a scandal, hysterical, so that you will listen to them and you begin to, let's talk. Let's talk. And when you talk, she cools down. And she's not really after fight. What I'm saying, just like the men could fight just for fun, not really want to fight. Women also, she doesn't really want to fight, but she wants to talk. And if she cannot get you to talk, she can troubleshoot, she can trouble talk, just for you to listen and sit down and give her that attention and talk. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. But for women, for men, if you trouble talk, he gets annoyed for real. He says, so why are you because of that making noise? So why are you because of that trying to, so what's the problem here? It's a real big problem, but she just wants to talk. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So on one hand, the men need that energy and adrenaline to fight and do physical something and just for fun, just because they need to get themselves entertained. But women don't need that kind of entertainment, but they need conversation. They need to talk. So if to get that talk, they could trouble talk. They could start a conflict. They could start a trouble. They could start some, hey, let's talk about this now. And so that was two differences between men and women. But of course, then the first thing I spoke about is that women don't like to talk too much in public, but then they can talk in private, especially when they trust you. But in public, they might be quiet, but in private, you discover that they can talk a lot. But men is the opposite. In public, they could talk a lot, but at home, their wife cannot get them to even open their mouth. So what do you guys think about this idea, this concept? Anybody wants to talk about it? In talking? Yeah?
I think women trouble talk with their husband to start a quarrel or fight. It's just to get their attention.
Okay.
For them to listen to what they are trying to say. So that at the end conclusion, there will be a solidarity.
Brilliant.
That's
so men shouldn't get mad when that happens?
They shouldn't get mad. But knowing men, they will still get mad.
How do you know?
I'm married, so I know.
Yeah, because we don't know that women just want to talk.
Yeah.
So men just get mad. That's okay. Why are you
quarreling? Why are you quarreling? Why are you shouting?
Yes.
Why don't you lower your voice to talk? but we just want to get their attention for them to listen to what we want to talk to them about. That's what
Anybody wants to comment on that?
That's pretty clear.
I've personally found a good solution. I don't want to get myself into trouble for this, but women, they do talk openly in private when they can feel trusted in the in that environment. Now, I don't always understand all the feelings that my wife is trying to convey, even though I'm trying my hardest to understand it. So what I'm trying to create is a safe environment. Maybe if it's not with myself, but what I try to do is organize girls' night at our home. So I try to say, why don't we invite some of your good friends that you know, like say 3-4 girls, where it creates
Brilliant.
a very kind of intimate atmosphere, and they come out from like 6 o'clock and they just talk until midnight.
Very good.
So I either leave the home or I'm in a study
You
room.
help resolve the problem, right?
And I'm in my study room.
Great.
And then I come down afterwards and like, how was your night? He was like, oh, it's so great. We had such great conversations. I feel so well connected.
Wow.
And then she feels connected to me, even though I wasn't even there, because she feels like, she talked out, she kind of reasoned out her things that were bothering her, and she can just come to me with kind of the conclusion that they've ironed out at the end.
Very smart. He created the system. He created the system for his family.
And see also, I think when you said women can multitask as they talk, so you talk and you can fix up your table, you can wash the dishes. But what I've also found is if my wife is talking to me and I'm trying to take this cup away to clean the table, she'll get so mad and say, you're not listening to me. Yes. So I'm thinking, so how,
to listen and look into her eyes.
so how is that when I talk, you do so many things in one go, but when you talk and I try to like just in the meantime try to clean something, it communicates that I'm not listening because I'm not giving you my full attention. So that's also how.
What do you people say to that?
Because that's our territory. Our territory is to get things done. We don't expect that you would choose that to be your territory. Your territory is to go get something done out over there somewhere. Ours is to get it done while you're talking. We're still in our state.
But what he's saying is that, but when he's trying to do the same thing in the house, she wants him to just listen to her.
Yeah, because he's out of he's moving into her mode. That's her place. There's some things that women would say to men that they would say, how come you're doing that? That's because the men feel like, no, you're not supposed to be talking to me that way. I'm just saying that we have, as men and women, we have what is us. And if you come in and try to do the same thing, it's like, no, men don't do that. Or you could say, no, women don't do that. What are you doing on?
I'm not sure you're getting him.
Well, okay. For me, I'm trying to help. And in the house, I'm trying to like do something nice. Be a good husband, but I get myself into trouble for that.
Because he wants him to just listen that time because she's talking that time.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I definitely think it's like, because I'm trying to put myself in that situation, and I think that when women are doing stuff, it's almost like a selfish kind of thing, because when we're multitasking and listening to you, we know our heart is with what you're saying. But when we're talking to you and you start we don't know where your heart is right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's more for us. Like, we're not, it's more like our assurance. We need to be assured. And I feel like the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And so, like, you take your eyes away and it's like, okay, so what am I talking for? Like, if I can't hold your
You
eye
now.
contact. I can't hold your heart. I can't get my message straight to where I want it to go. And yeah, it's not like we're not thinking about, oh, this isn't actually fair. We're thinking, I'm not assured that your heart is in this conversation right now, you know. But in the heat of the moment, you're not thinking.
Even though when you are doing it, you are sure that your heart is
Yeah, that's it. That's all we're thinking about.
Yeah? Okay, you want to continue? Or you're okay?
No, it's,
Okay. Now, anybody wants to talk about the conversation thing that we spoke about, that we could, the men could fight, but for fun. Ladies don't fight for fun, but we could fight. But they fight for fun. I mean, they fight in a different way. They trouble talk. But she addressed that very well. In order to get your attention, to get you to listen. So they trouble talk. They quarrel. They, just for you to listen. But we do it in a different way. We just want to get fun and relax and all that. And then what about men talking in public and being quiet at home? And ladies talking at home and being quiet in public. Is that something you people agree with?
Well, for me, a lot of times I think that I'm quiet. When I go in public, what I am trying to do, I don't really talk too much, is I'm trying to figure out who people are, where to come in and say hello, and when I say hello, I'm trying to get a feedback so that when I start a conversation, I pretty much am able to move in more than your name. I'm now moving into what do you do, what's your passion. So I'm observing when I first come in. So I'm not going to be making a whole lot of noise when I walk in. I'm actually going to be observing. So I think there are some women like that. But if you are able to do the same to me and know my core areas, you can get me talking, laughing, big laugh, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the woman is not talking because she's shy. She might just be observing how she wants to move in and mingle with people.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of conversations when men think that people outside think my wife is quiet. But I know my wife talks. She's not as quiet as people. Everybody's thinking she's quiet, she's this quiet lady, she doesn't talk. But I know she talks because she talks at home. Why that? Or you people have not noticed that?
Well, I would say, like, my mom said, at least maybe it's because she's my mom that I've learned this, but it is more productive for me as a woman because, I want to build relationships. It's more productive for me to watch you before I talk than for me to just go in talking. Because then if I'm talking...
So when she said she's observing, or you are observing when you go to a new place, do you have all those thoughts, all those movements, all those circles?
Yes. It's almost
Even when
like...
you are quiet?
Yeah.
It's almost like what you taught us about processes. That's just the process by which any ideas come. Now there's just
So the fact that a woman is just sitting there quietly doesn't mean nothing is going on in her head.
oh no,
Lots of things are going on.
no. She is basically a psychologist at that point.
Yeah.
So a lot of things going on?
A lot. She is observing the person that walked out angry, someone that picked up a cupcake and ran away. I mean, she's observing the dog that ran by the... She's observing everything. And, it is better as women to do that. If you look at it very carefully, that's best for a woman, especially if she's a single woman, because she's got to observe her environment for her safety. A woman's got to be able to go into an environment, settle down, and observe it. Observe the environment as she's entering into it and when she gets there. It's a form of protection for her. She can now observe if she is safe. She can observe if it's a friendly place. She can observe whether she wants to stay here, where things are not looking good. And then later when she feels comfortable, then she can, she can start building up her her friendships. But I would advise, women that are single, women that are married, observe your environment, find out where you are, what's going on, and
To avoid danger.
yes, it could really help you. So it doesn't mean that the person, and then there's the kind of thing about a woman is quiet and a woman doesn't talk. There are different things. I have met women that are quiet and they don't talk. Now that's a whole nother story, because you're trying to find out what is the matter. You're quiet is one thing, but not talking is another thing. Some people may appear quiet, but it doesn't mean they don't talk. When they start talking, you're like, okay, I should have just left her quiet, So, so it's two different things. Like a quiet woman like me, if I had to stand up for myself, it would be so quick. You almost, if you're not careful, you won't catch that I just stood up for myself, because you're looking at the quietness. You didn't catch the speech that I gave to defend myself. So, and I caught that too with Pastor Boss said that the quietness
Like
is
that,
one thing,
yes.
but if she needs to stand up,
To talk.
it will just be a few words and she has stood up for herself. Immediately you know that she's not armorless. She has a kind of armor with her. She's dressed, ready for whatever situation, love, kindness, peace, discussion. But if something were to come, she'll speak it. And you also talked about women just speaking to stir up trouble.
Yes.
We as women, we have our mouths, what comes out of our mouths can either ruin the house or it could keep the house. And what we want to do is say, women, find the things that will keep your house rather than the things that will ruin your house. Because what we say in our house as a woman determines how our marriage is going to be. And that includes what you tell people about your marriage. And by the way, if you're not discussing about how can we improve our marriages, you don't need to really be discussing about anything. The person you need to be discussing with is your husband. And if things don't work out there, of course, the next step, you have to look for professional help. But discussing in depth about your marriage, you just don't know how the other person is going to understand what you're talking about. So you have to just be careful about, and maybe that's another reason why some women don't talk a lot too, because they're trying to protect not just themselves but their whole household. It's all on the woman when it comes to the discussion.
Okay. Now, I think in conclusion, let me just remind you of the points that we already made. Today I spoke about eye contact, that women like to look into their eyes, and that is necessary for them for reassurance. And that's what that's what Ruby just told us, that we don't need to be doing something parallel when the lady is talking to us, otherwise she would think we were not respecting her. But men avoid eye contact because we don't want to conflict. We don't want to go into a situation where it looks like we are laughing or we want to fight. So we need to understand each other in that sense. Second thing that we need to talk that I spoke about is that men talk to establish their status or their importance, their significance, while women talk to get agreement, solidarity, understanding, for people to agree, to feel what they are feeling. Number 3, men talk from point to point, from point to point. It decides from point to point, from decision to decision. One decision is, but women talk from conversation and discussion, they reach a decision. They need to talk, converse, discuss before they reach a conclusion. And from discussion to conclusion but we just reach decisions, conclusions, and then we begin to talk from there. Next thing that we spoke about is that women are more private. They talk less in public until they study the environment and they could secure trust. But where they are secured, where at home, they talk a lot. but they might talk a lot. They are free to talk a lot, but in public they are more quiet. Why men are more talkative in public? Because they need that respect, that status, and more quiet at home. Then the next thing is that men could fight for fun, just play around and for adrenaline. But women, women don't fight. They don't fight physically. They don't. If they fight for real. But what women do is that they trouble talk just to get attention, to conversation. But men don't like trouble talk because they even feel that is they get annoyed, and we need to understand each other. We need to understand the women why they trouble talk. We know that when they trouble talk like that, they need our attention. We should just listen to them and try to talk it out, and things will be much more easier. Well, I hope we learned something today. Anything anybody wants to say in conclusion?
No.
You're all good?
Good.
You're all good. So thank you, everybody. I hope you got something. I hope you all got something. And, thank you. And talk to you tomorrow. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow. God bless you. But in the next 10, 20 minutes, we are going to have HMT Live. HMT Live. So if you want to join us on HMT in the next few minutes, we're going to the classes now and to do HMT Live. It has been wonderful. Yesterday we have like 30,000 views on HMT Live. And so see you. God bless. Bye.